Okay. And welcome to Dark Tower Games streaming legacy event on Thursday, July 3rd. We're going to start you off with Tom Jacobson and Jared Somerville, Death and Taxes versus Mud. My name is Ian. I'm streaming with my esteemed colleague, Nick Delaney.
What's happening? Who do you think's favorite in this matchup, dude?
I would say it's very close. I think Death and Taxes slightly.
He played a lot of this deck.
He's played a lot of this deck. He's very familiar with this matchup.
Yeah.
And, being able to attack the Mud's mana base while having cards like Swords and Plowshares in their deck is just really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
The key for the Mud deck is to essentially get its mana off of its lands, hopefully, and not rely on cards like Grim Monolith to produce and Metalworker to produce mana for you, because they're just too easily killed in this matchup.
Absolutely. Tom with a lot of disruptive qualities. A pretty aggressive clock. Also in cards like Stoneforge Mystic.
Yep, Rashad Import, Wasteland.
Those cards, seem very powerful. Also Revoker, being a little bit named.
Yeah, Phyrexian Revoker can shut off a Metalworker.
Monolith.
Or Monolith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have players resolving the turn draw. It starts like that? Yeah, see, now we're live. Trying to talk a little bit while it is.
Okay, and we are underway. They're taking a look at their hands. I think the Mud deck, it's definitely, I'd say, the more powerful deck overall.
Yeah, it's one of the more powerful things you can be doing in the format, it seems.
It really is,
with the exception of Brainstorm and Jace, I suppose.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fair deck in the sense that it gets a ridiculous amount of mana and plays ridiculous cards. However, its main problem is just it's got a little bit of consistency issues. It doesn't have a great way to get card advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it looks like...
the play just leads off to the Darksteel Citadel.
Yep, leads off to the Darksteel Citadel. Probably one of Mud's worst lands, actually. Doesn't really do a whole lot, just provides an indestructible land that can boost your Metalworker up a little bit, boost your Forge Master up a little bit, but overall, not one of its soul lands. But you see a Glimmer Post from Jared there. It's going to gain him a life, and we've seen this nowadays in this Mud list. They've kind of made a transition over to the 12-post mana base.
Okay, so
if you will,
maybe a little bit more consistency in the ramping.
Yeah, a little less reliant on City of Traders. They can get a little less reliant on Metalworker. They can actually cast their big cards off of a couple Cloud Posts. So. And we see a Chalice of the Void for one, which is pretty solid in this matchup.
Okay, I believe it hits Swords, Plowshare, and Mother Runes.
Yep, and Aether Vial as well.
Oh, of course.
It's one of those cards that once Aether Vial is down, it's much worse.
Sure.
Actually, sorry, we have a mistake here. Tom is not playing Death and Taxes. That's his usual deck. We actually see Show and Tell. I guess we should have gotten tipped off when he played the Scalding Tarn. That was not a Death and Taxes land. But
so we have a Gristlebrand. It's pretty powerful.
So actually, this matchup is extremely interesting. So Tom just landed in a world of trouble because Jared put in a Kozilek, and that card has Annihilator 4.
Absolutely.
I found that the Show and Tell matchup against Mud, the Show and Tell player has to be very, very careful on when they decide to play Show and Tell, and it really helps them out a lot if they are running cards like Detaching Probe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they can take a look, because there's so many times when they cast Show and Tell, they actually will just lose. And you see Tom here is going to draw, I assume, 14 cards with this Gristlebrand, but yeah, Annihilator 4, just no way to put permanents on the board for him. It's possible he should have done that in his main phase to try to hit some Lotus Petals.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, he would have to just chump block with the Gristlebrand, which would put him in bad shape but not necessarily be dead.
Yeah.
It would probably be with no permanents, but,
Yeah, I think...
I'm not sure he had a road to victory off of that one.
From Tom's sideboard, I think we can see through the breach. It seems like a really good way to get around that Show and Tell issue.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sneaking in some of his own monsters.
You can definitely consider boarding out a couple of the Show and Tells in this matchup. It's not a mirror match, but they are so dangerous dangerous, you'd much rather use cards like Sneak Attack.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get your guys in, just because the mud deck it can also put in cards like Blightsteel Colossus, which you're going to have to chump block with. I can put in cards like Clotho the Forge Master, which they can combo out with.
That card kills people.
Or they can just put in like a Metal Worker and then untap, create a bazillion mana, Lightning Greaves, boom, 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 you're dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, show and tell. This matchup, I actually believe is highly favored from the mud deck in my experience.
Sure, I can see that. Most of the show and tell, it's basically only the sneak attack plan.
Yeah.
Is really what Tom's trying to be on, and those the breaches will make that. Maybe he can take out a couple of those show and tells. Because letting Jared have a big monster, you can't do it unless you're show and telling for sneak attack and activating to put a trigger like an.
Yeah, just get a little cheaper.
Turn.
Absolutely, yeah. And Tom might have some good cards to board out here. Some of these decks are main decking Flusterstorm, which is a dead card against Mud, so maybe I'll take those out.
Yeah, I don't believe main deck Flusterstorm is the case. The deck plays 4 Spell Pierces.
4 Spell Pierce? Okay.
And then it plays obviously Force of Will, but those are actually the only counters in the main deck.
Okay.
And then the rest is kind of devoted to the combo. There's actually 2 main deck Jaces.
Oh, 2 main deck Jace, the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah,
okay.
And 2 main deck Misdirect. I've been playing this deck for the last couple of weeks, and
nice.
I'm really enjoying it. I got to top 8 Mercury tournament.
Sick.
With it. So yeah,
Very nice.
The deck's super sweet, and it was kind of pretty well positioned because a lot of decks it was off their radar.
Yeah, I mean, also especially you don't really expect like just a value card like Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, absolutely. That was to combat the miracle decks.
Right, just kind of a good solid card that can get you value and let you play a later game.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we see just player sideboarding. Looks like Jared's content with what he's doing. Maybe he wasn't changing too much up. What can you see from the mud
If he does have Revokers in the sideboard, I would board those in because that lets you fight the sneak attack, which is one of Tom's best ways to actually take these games.
Absolutely.
A lot of times you'll have a little bit of just kind of spare odds and ends cards like a Spine Fish Saw, which is pretty effective against a show and tell plan. Sometimes they have cards like Duplicant, which show and tell and Emrakul, you just put in a little duplicant, get that.
Get behind that.
So there's some cards. Most of their main deck cards they do want. We saw Chalice of the Void in the first game against the show and tell deck is much more effective because they play so many cantrips.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to shut down Preordain, Ponder.
Yep, all of those.
Brainstorm. It's a pretty.
It just shuts off a lot of cards.
What do you think? So the mud deck is cutting down, I imagine, on soul lands in favor of this post package. That might hurt its chalice.
Yeah, I think they usually still keep the 4 Ancient Tombs, but they don't necessarily play the 4 City of Traders. A lot of times they'll cut to 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, so but they're still playing that effect.
Yeah, they cut more down on the Mishra's Factories.
Okay, sure.
Sometimes they cut down on Cavern of Souls. Usually they still play Wasteland, but they cut down on the utility lands a little bit.
Sure.
It makes them a little bit less able to handle cards like Jace with factories.
Yeah.
But it does.
Or even cards like Terminus.
Yeah, or cards like Terminus, exactly, just the control-y matchups.
Yeah.
But it does allow them to just cast their cards a bit more consistently, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we see Tom's going to 6 here.
My suggestion is
Which doesn't hurt the show and tell deck nearly as bad as most other decks.
Not at all.
Just as they can win with so few cards. They are a combo deck, but
yeah, and at any point, you can get into these positions where you're trying to top deck certain combo pieces, and at any point in the game, you're two draw steps away from just winning the game.
Right? Yeah. You're definitely being card
granted,
down.
they have to be really good draws, but
and Merkle gets that card advantage back pretty quick.
Yeah, it turns out when you annihilate your 6.
Yeah. And also they play so many cantripping cards, they can keep a lot of 6s even if they're not too great.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we see a ponder from Tom.
ignores Iron Flash on Chaosy. Or non-Chaosy.
Going over his options, so
yeah,
more than likely
seems like that.
One of the combo pieces.
The trifecta of Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm has just enabled so many decks in Legacy.
Yeah, you just get to see a lot of cards. This deck actually only playing the one Preordain as
just the one Preordain?
The ninth cantrip, but yeah, Ponder specifically, just going 3 deep is really powerful, and then being able to reset the top of your deck with your fetch lands is
being able to keep keep a card that you want and just fetch away a card that you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Tom not liking what he sees, just going to shuffle him up. Get a new one off the top.
Yeah, that's always what you like to see from Jared's side.
Yeah, definitely. The worst thing is seeing your opponent preordain quickly keep 3 on the top draw card and just pass,
yeah,
looking content. Here we see one of those aforementioned ancient tombs.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like he's going to probably be attempting a chalice for one here.
Yep, and Tom with no responses.
No responses. Well, Tom, that's almost undoubtedly not what he wanted to see there. Decides to run out of Lotus Petal. I have definitely Chalice for 0 in this matchup occasionally, just to shut off those Lotus Petals. It's also a free artifact for your Coldotha.
Yeah.
But definitely 1 is where you generally want to set it at.
Yeah, being able to shut off all those aforementioned cantrips is powerful effects. Show and Tell being kind of resigned to its draw steps at this point.
Yeah.
Curious to see if those Jaces are still left in the deck.
I imagine they are.
It seems like this would be a pretty good stuff.
Yeah, just being able to bounce your opponent's large worm coil engine or something of that nature. It's just pretty good.
We see a Lodestone Golem on turn 2. That's a very powerful play.
Very powerful. And Tom Jacobson with the Force, he's able to pitch a Ponder, which is just a dead card.
So you see, he wasn't really. Assuming he had that Force of Will when the Chalice came down, he just probably doesn't care about the effect. Just has no more cantrips and is fine with it resolving.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible he drew it. He did miss his land drop. He may have a card like Emrakul or Show and Tell in his hand. He's just hoping hey, I'm just gonna have to use Force of Will to combat my opponent's action and just hope I draw into the combo.
Yeah, absolutely.
I imagine he would have countered it if he did have that Ponder, but I'm not sure. And we see the Mud deck just developing its mana base, playing out a Grim Monolith and a Cloud Post. It'll give him access to at least 6 mana next turn, if not more.
And that kind of opens up the top end of his deck.
Yep, that opens up your Worm Coils and up.
The bevy of win conditions in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it does have one thing I like about the deck is it has a lot of ways to close out a game.
Yeah, absolutely. It can just kind of beat you down with those kind of mid-rangey Lodestone Golem-like creatures.
Yep.
It can combo out. It can just play like a big planeswalker like Karn, or it can just lay down monster nasty creatures. We see another Cloud Post from Jerry there, so he's up to 8 mana, but looks like he didn't have anything to do with it. Nope. And it's a quick pass, and Tom quickly passes back, so I'm guessing Tom may have been drawing some ponders there.
Here we have a Glimmer Post, correct?
Correct, yep. So that those Cloud Posts each tap for 3 mana now, so he's able to bruise 12 this turn if he so desires.
I imagine we might see an Eldrazi in our future.
Yeah, looks like, yep, that's just Kozilek coming down. Gonna be able to draw him 4 cards. And we'll see if Tom wants to do anything about that Kozilek. I'm definitely sure he does, if he can. I don't think he can, though.
I think we're going to see Tom draw a card.
I think
Tom has to go off this turn.
He needs to go off this turn, and it can't be a Show and Tell.
If he had a sneak attack effect, it could be Show and Tell, right?
Yes. If he could Show and Tell into sneak attack and sneak into an Emrakul.
Yeah, or ideally a Gristlebrand.
And just go crazy.
And hopefully just kill him.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like, and we have an Annihilator 4 and an attack for 11?
I think Kozilek's 12-12? I'm actually not 100% sure.
That is insane. I'll check that.
I think it's a 12-12. Leaving Tom with no permanence. Not good. And Tom, he just didn't have any. Yeah, he didn't have any plays this match. He played out his cards, did the best he could. He countered the Lodestone, which he had to. And things just didn't work out for him. And that's the power of the Mud deck, just being able to play ridiculous cards that your opponents can't answer. And as you can see, show and tell, a deck known for doing that. That show and tell in the first game really got him into trouble.
Kind of ridiculous.
So show and tell it all. Kozilek came off the other side, and that Annihilator was just a little bit too powerful.
Well, and here we saw game 2. We saw Sneak Attack. Here we are in the booth. We're at Dark Tower Games, Bellingham, Washington. This is Ian Robbins from Nick Delaney.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bringing you Thursday Night Legacy here at Dark Tower. Every Thursday we do a Legacy stream. It's pretty sweet. There's a lot of good decks, a lot of good players.
Yeah. I mean, that show and tell matchup is really fun with that mud show and tell matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my experience, the mud deck really does have the best of it, which is surprising because show and tell is just such a good deck.
Such a powerful effect. I think if the Sneak Attack deck can kind of cobble up a very fast Sneak Attack and have an Emrakul trigger, I think we can win that game. And I think no matter what our opponent puts into play, if we're showing telling and then going off the turn that we combo, I think we're probably winning that game. And that's really what the deck is trying to do. It's not good enough to put a monster in play without haste. Because
it's amazing how many times nowadays that just like turn 2 Emrakul is just like
not good enough.
It's good, but it's not. Death Right Liliana, no way. Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're definitely excited for M15. I am
super excited. Yeah, we're going to be doing pre-releases all weekend starting at midnight on Friday. Come on down. We're doing great deals. We're pre-selling boxes at $95, I believe. Maybe $100. I'm not positive on that, but yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
Super sick. A lot of cool cards come back.
Team sealed Corset Grand Prix in Portland in August.
Oh yeah,
How excited are you?
I'm going.
If you're in the Northwest area, this is going to be an awesome tournament. Team seals are a delight. Absolutely a delight.
Yeah, so much skill.
We're going to go see if we can't. We got about 30 minutes left in this round, so we're going to try to get you guys another match. We'll be right back. Thanks for watching.
Okay, cool, guys. We'll be back.